We are back live, ladies and gentlemen. It is hour number 3. Mark Dice is our guest. I want to hurry through these calls so we can finish up with Mark and some of the other things he's working on. But I told folks to call in with their concerns about the naked body scanners, the fact that the people running these are being exposed to high levels of radiation. That's top scientist on record, New York Times, you name it. But they just come out and say that's just the way it is. Now blasting your homes with mobile vans and mobile checkpoints on the highway. Being reported today by WSB-TV, counter-terror operation stops trucks on I-20, radiates them. Got a key report by Paul Watson. Feds radiating Americans at internal checkpoints. So important to get this PrisonPlanet.com article out to everyone. Damon in South Carolina, radiation therapist. Thanks for holding. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I'm a medical dosimetrist also, and I do treatment planning every day for cancer patients who get radiation. And part of my training, I had to take all sorts of radiation biology classes and learn about the current regs for it. And the National Council on Radiation Protection and Measurements, they say that as a person who works with radiation, you're only supposed to get an annual dose of 50 millisieverts, okay? Which is, sievert is a measurement of both the radiation and then the biological effect of the radiation on what part of your body gets exposed, or the whole body for that matter. And then when you consider that these are people who work with radiation, and the 3 sievert, okay, has a 50% chance, will kill 50% of all, 50% of people who get receive 3 sieverts of dose will be dead within 30 days. So, I mean, that's how, dangerous this constant exposure to radiation is. And
they admit the cell phones put off microwave radiation, and it confirms, gives you brain tumors. This is really the globalist population reduction program, is to just embed radiation-emitting devices everywhere and just kill us.
But we get exposed to radiation every day from the sun, from, radon gas and other natural exposure.
And that's the main reason we age, and that's why, on average, there's about 10 feet of water in the first 30,000 feet of atmosphere. You know, you can't even breathe about after 17,000 feet. And that's why it's so dangerous for airline pilots and stewardesses. That's why they all basically, even if they're good-looking, look like they've been put through a microwave, is because they get the equivalent, what is it, every flight during broad daylight is the equivalent of a chest X-ray.
Basically, but listen to this. The number I gave you for someone who works, occupational exposure, that's 50 millisieverts annually. But the public is only allowed to get 1 millisievert, okay? 5 millisievert annually, excuse me.
And how many millisieverts are these naked body scanner technicians getting?
Well, see, I've never gotten the specs on them, so I don't know what kind of energy they're using. Because
well, they lied and said that it was at one amount, but then even the New York Times had to admit 20 to 50 times, depending on the machine. And then you've got these mobile scanners that are just off the charts. We've had a engineer/radiologist designer on. They said at least 10 times, he knows the units that they're using, 10 times a chest X-ray.
Oh, that's not. I mean, that's crazy high.
When they die, though, they're going to love it.
Here's the problem: is the public doesn't wear the badges. My coworkers and I, we all have to wear badges that get changed out every month that get a report done on them to say
there's not any badges, and they don't have TSA wearing badges. And listen, remember the Pentagon? The Pentagon took over 4,000 children, this is on record, and radiated them to death. So they're just killing us. I mean, sir, you ought to write a report for us and go pull up all the data. In fact, I want to get some official radiologist on. That's a prime thing, and we'll get all the numbers on these and do an official report. Very interesting, Damon. You know what? I want Mark Dice to be able to finish up, because that's who we have on as a guest. But I want to put you on hold, if you can do it, towards the end of the hour, to come back and finish up talking about this, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, Mark Dice is our guest. We're holding him into this hour to sort of go into your calls. We'll get Mark's take on what Damon was just talking about. We'll go to James and Roger. You know, I could myself just pull up. In fact, we can do it right now. Guys, just search the term top scientist, top radiation scientist, or radiation scientist says body scanners, serious cancer risk. Or headline, body scanners 20 times the radiation previously stated. Well, of course, they lie and say they're not saving the image. Look, folks, they emit serious radiation, and you don't see the TSA wearing a lead apron even, okay? You don't see them wearing badges. You know, my dad's a dentist. They hide behind a lead wall. They've got a radiation officer that does it, that has to wear it. But notice, see, the globalists just don't care now. They come out and say, 20 years ago, Army said DU would kill you deader than a hammer. One whiff of it would kill you a decade later. Now they just say, no problem. Troops, snort it, roll around in it, don't even wash your hands. It's great. I mean, you know, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, they would roll people's trucks through the border scanners. Now they have the families just go through them. It's just like the government's gone completely nuts. They're radiating you out in the open. Mark Dice, was that not a chilling call, though? In fact, we just put the headline up, body scanners could give you cancer. Airport body scanners emit radiation up to 20 times more powerful than previously thought, a scientist has warned. And there's so many of these guys out there warning people. But, I mean, Mark, I'm speechless.
We need a group of nurses and doctors, dentists, some group in the medical establishment to come out and denounce these scanners, to denounce the body scanners at the airport, the mobile vans, because, you know, obviously this guy knows what he's talking about. He's in the field. The designers of these things don't even know, don't care, probably don't even think about these sort of repercussions. Doctors are so busy. Most people in the medical establishment work such long hours. They're not kind of really aware.
But why are there radiology rules for everything else, but the government's got cops on top vehicles going, I love this, I can look right through walls. I mean, the thing is Death Star power compared to a pop gun. I mean, you know, a regular X-ray is like nothing. This is like blasting power, and it's backscattering all over them. If you know about radiology, look at Madame Curie. It killed her. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, there's got to be a way. If there is some sort of I know there's the recommended, you know, amount that once you exceed the you know, a certain amount of radiation, it's going to be hazardous. So there's got to be some sort of a law, or someone in a position of power and legal authority has got to be able to put forth some sort of a lawsuit in order to stop these, put a freeze to it, get this kind of information out. So, you know, it's people like that caller that are aware of things like this, that are aware of your show, that are going to be instrumental in alerting his coworkers. So, I don't know very many people in the medical establishment, but that's probably the only thing I could take to get that out, get some authorities on the subject that work in that field to come out and denounce how dangerous these are.
Well, Mark Dice, expanding on that, the issue here is they are breaking the law because they run the system. In fact, guys, search the term body scanners violate child porn laws. You'll get articles from the U.S. and from England. The one place they stood up in Denver, they had to stop X-raying, scanning 18 and under, because the point was made this is illegal under state and federal law. So they know it's illegal just on that front. There it is. New scanners break child porn laws. London Guardian. They don't care. That's what I'm saying. Have you seen these federal depositions of the Blackwater people with the running around naked, snorting giant amounts of cocaine and injecting drugs and smuggling armaments worldwide? I mean, it's just lunatics running things.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of that thing. Of course, there's been some interesting sex parties going on with some of the contractors. There's been allegations of, you know, women being raped, abused, all sorts of these things. Yeah, it's not that surprising. Again, you know, turning back to Orwell here, it says if there was hope, it lies with the proles, because they are, in those swarming, disregarded masses, 85% of the population. And could the force to destroy the party ever be generated? But the proles, if only they could somehow become conscious of their own strength, would have no need to conspire. If they would choose, they could blow the party to pieces tomorrow morning.
But the party sits up there in fancy suits and plays the part of the liberal and the conservative, gives the proles the false paradigm, and the proles stay within it.
I mean, we look at the snitch culture, the doublethink, the relationships, the foreign countries painted as enemies, power-hungry officials, the erosion of the language, the overwhelming Big Brother nanny state, the personification of the party, the perpetuation of war, the control of information, the social hierarchy. It was interesting. It's all predicted in George Orwell's book, and we're making tremendous progress. And like I said at the beginning of the show, it's a microcosm and a macrocosm. It's you as an individual are bettering your life, and then together we will benefit society.
A year ago you went out with the gold coins and tried to give them to people for almost nothing, and they wouldn't take them, just showing what idiots they are.
Yeah, and then people said that they thought that the coin was fake, so then I went out and, I tried to, instead of trying to sell it to them for $50, I offered it to them for free if they had any idea how much it was worth, and one woman guessed just a few cents. 38 cents, I believe, was her answer. Maybe the highest one was a few $100s. So, just try to, just be thankful that you're on the right path. People listening to this show, people that are aware, you can become more aware once you find out the system. And if we don't, the consequences are horrific, as the main bad guy in 1984 says, quote, "Never again will you be capable of ordinary human feeling. Everything will be dead inside of you. Never again will you be capable of love or friendship or joy of living or laughter or curiosity or courage or integrity. You will be hollow. We shall squeeze you empty, and then we shall fill you with ourselves." So I just say, as Orwell concluded his book, down with Big Brother.
Well, that's spoken like a true terrorist.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, once we can get our numbers up enough, we can become the norm. I mean, look what we've done for 9/11 Truth. It went from being virtually unknown to being an internet conspiracy theory to spilling over into the mainstream with the few Hollywood people to now we have world leaders around the world, and Germany and England and everywhere is just right on board with us. So if we can just get the word out about their Big Brother system, their nanny state, their social engineering plans, instead of us being looked at as the fringe, we're the norm and we can win.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, but also just getting people to realize there is evil in the world and it's running the government. I mean, people have got to really get it to their head. They don't just care if the radiation hurts you or don't care. They want to hurt you.
Yeah, they're inhuman, inhuman social Darwinists. And so, hijack the culture jam, the social network sites. Use the system against the system to crack it open.
Absolutely. Great job, Mark Dice.